Hello and welcome to busyworksbeats.com. Today, guys, I'm going to start the new series where I'm going to show you how to make jerk beats. So I learned about this from Xaviersobased, Osama-san. I just listened to, I'll pull him up in a second. But basically, the newer class of artists are really bringing the danceability of hip-hop back. So there's an artist, Baby Chief Do It. I loved his last album. And I think it's the third song on there. It was like a jerk type beat. So I'm going to introduce this because it's becoming more ubiquitous, but I love the fact that these artists are bringing the bounce back. So firstly, let's tap out the tempo. So I'm going to show you guys from scratch. So it's ta, 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 ta. Somewhere around 91 to 95. It depends on the vibe you guys are going for. Let's keep the metronome on. And to find the sounds, you even have these in your stock FL. If you go to your browser, which is this button right here, go to packs. Scroll down until you see legacy, then go to where it says drums and go to where it says vintage. This is what's called a Roland TR-808 drum machine. These are samples from the drum machine. So it has the cowbell, it has your classic clap. Hold on, my thing froze. It has your clap. Okay, so all the sounds you would need to make this type of vibe. So let's start with this like noisier snare here. Let's right click, open a new channel. That will open it up in the channel rack right there. Nextly, let's go look for an open hi-hat. That one, the Metro hi-hat everybody knows about. Open that up. So a lot of these sounds come from, hold on, let me fix my buffer, y'all. A lot of these sounds come from the Roland TR-808. Then we need this for percussion. This is a clave. And then we need our hi-hat. What else do we need? Kick. We're going to pick a different 808. All right, so we have the snare drum, the clap is what we need. Okay, the clap. Let's use this one. Right click, open that up. So now everything's in our channel rack. This is where we're going to use these sounds to create our beat. All right, let's close out the browser for now. And now let's start arranging this rhythm. So let's hit play, hit spacebar. So the rhythm here is called trecio. So it's ta, 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 ta. Now it's not that exact rhythm, but I want to teach this rhythm so that you understand it. This is also the rhythm in drill too. But that's where the bounce comes from. It's called trecio. So we're not going to do it that consistent. We're going to do trecio, treci. And then, okay, so trecio, treci, trecio, trecio, tre. So that's why it keeps bouncing, is because you're stacking trecio back into itself. So it goes trecio. Trecio, trecio, tre. So it's just repeating itself. Now that we have that, we're gonna stack this over one more bar. So this is the entire like bounce of the track. It's called trecio. If you guys want to learn more, I have a course called Beat Magic, which it goes over rhythms. It goes over the music theory you guys need to know. It goes over arrangement. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials to learn more. All right, so now we have that. Let's add our clap. So the clap is usually, it's just on like the 4. So let's right click, fill each 4 steps. And that creates the contrast for the trecio. So now let's go to our playlist. And what we're going to do is lay this as the foundation. We're going to go to the left side here where it says pattern 1, drag it in. Let's go to song mode now. We're not in pattern mode anymore. Go to song mode. Make sure your snap to grid here is on bar. And now we're going to just highlight this, hit Control B to latch paste to save a lot of time. So now we have that mapped out for 32 bars in this case, aka 16 bars. Actually, no, it's 32 actual bars. Never mind. So let's do 16 bars. Okay, so now we just got to add the music and the 808 and the vibe. So let's go to pattern 2. Notice I'm separating the sounds here. Let's add pattern 2 into the playlist because we want to be able to pull this in and remove it when we want to. So let's add this in. Let's hit Control left click on this timeline to create a loop. And now I'm just going to add the percussion. So this is going to be your open hi-hats, your clave, your hi-hat. And the hi-hat doesn't need to be all the way through. That's kind of overplayed. So for this genre, you can kind of spread your hi-hats out. So that's more of like a Philly bounce, but let's add this little clave. So 1 clave, clave, 1 clave, clave. So that's trecio, 1 trecio, trecio, So it's just a slow tresillo. To add this open hi-hat. Usually I add open hi-hats when it's like push, pull, push, pull. So it's push is the downbeat, or when the beat starts, push, and then the second half is the pull. So if I'm counting, I'm going 1 and 2 and 3. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I usually put the open hi-hats on the ands. So it's 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's where I usually put the hi-hats, the open hi-hats, to create a bounce. Now that we have that, let's highlight this, hit Control B. You guys look at the project files if I didn't already mention that. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Now we're gonna add the music. Now I would do the 808 here, but the problem is the 808 is a musical element. So without the other music, it's just gonna sound kind of like you're gonna lock yourself into a music theory hole without learning a lot about music theory. Let's go to your channel rack here and highlight these, double click, hit Control L. That will send everything to the mixer. So one defining kind of part of their sound is the way they distort their drums. So let me show you guys how to do this. In the mixer, we're gonna highlight a blank mixer insert. Highlight all your tracks that aren't that mixer insert, and then right click and route to this track only. So now all our mixer channels are going to channel 2. We're gonna name this like mix bus. Now on this mix bus, we're gonna add the Fruity Wave Shaper, and then we're gonna add a Fruity Soft Clipper. So click this little cog icon. We're gonna go to oversample mode and high quality mode, turn this up to 4x, and then we're gonna give it a convex curvature like this. Turn the mix level down to about 50%, and then turn up the pre amount. So we're gonna be distorting the sound nicely, saturating the sound. And then we're gonna go into the Fruity Soft Clipper as just like a final touch type of thing. Turn the threshold to the right. Now we're not really gonna hear that until the kicks come in, or the 808. Okay, so next let's figure out our sound making thing. Now there are a lot of sound making plugins in FL. You know, as far as stocks, I like the Morphine plugin. I like the what's the other ones? Sawyer. Toxic Biohazard is really good. I like Poison is really good. Some people like Secure. It's not my sound, but some people like it. So let's use the Morphine plugin because to me it has a lot of dope sounds. And now we're gonna go to here. Let's go to keyboard. And let's just start at the top. Now again, the sound, it could be literally anything you guys come up with. There's no like one sound that goes for the sound part. Really it's about that rhythm. So now let's figure out what sounds we want. So I like the sound because it's very bouncy, but remember there's 4 layers to a beat. You have the top line, which is the memorable melody. You have the harmony section, which is like your chords. Third section is your contrast layer, which is usually your bass and your counter melody. And then you have the 4th layer, which is your rhythm section. So for me to use this sound here, I would use it as a contrast layer, but then that would take the room of the bass, the 808. So we don't want to overly fill the bass area. That's what I'm saying. So let's find a different sound. It's a pretty cool sound. Okay, so let's record this. I'm using my typing keyboard. Click your typing keyboard. You can right click, hit reset, and that's what I'm using right now. So let's just record that. Now, if you don't record notes, right click here. Make sure all these are turned on. These little 4 things here. Okay, so let's do this. Leave some space. 2, 3, 4. It's called the top line. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. And then we're gonna bring in the bass. So let's, before we start quantizing and all that, let's start opening our bass. We need a bass that goes boom, boom. Now most people are gonna grab the hardest 808. It's not necessarily the 808 needs to be hard for this type of genre. It needs to be groovy and vibey. So wom means that it has an attack, like wom, wom. It means it's going from silent to up to volume, and then it fades. Not doom, doom, doom. We're going wom, wom, not doom, doom. Okay, so I'm not telling you guys what 808 to pick. I'm just giving you guys, know, an idea of what kind of 808 I'm going for. So we need something that goes doom doom. So this is nice. It's not a super hard 808, but it has the tonality we need. And what we need to do is go to pattern 4. So it's boom. I'm going to record this by hand, but I can also show you how to type it in. So it's 3, C, O, 3, C, 3, C. It's the same 3, C, O pattern. So let's turn the metronome on. Let's go to pattern mode. So it's boom, 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 boom. And then it repeats boom, 3, C. So let's make sure this is. Oh. So now we just need boom. We need to right click, go to piano roll, and hit shift up until we get the right dun. So dun. Somewhere between E and F. Now let's hear this in context. Let's add this to the playlist just by dragging the pattern in. Hit Control B. Make sure this. I'm gonna see if we can pull this back down an octave because it's a little too. Now it's still very like doom doom. We needed to go like boom boom. So let me show you guys how to do that. Go to the envelope tab, go to volume. We're gonna turn the hold parameter up, turn the decay down, turn everything down, and we're gonna mess with this attack until it softens out that what's called a transient or the pointy part of the audio. So we'll go like instead of doom doom, and we'll go boom boom like that. So it's a little bit dancier. They got this concept from the Meek Mill style. So now it's more groovy. So here I'm gonna make this unique, and we're gonna doom 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 doom. We're gonna do something different here. So let's hit Control, highlight this. That was dope. Doom doom doom. So I'm not even gonna mess with the notes. It just sounded dope right there. Now we're gonna like make it go pattern 4, pattern 5. Arrange it that way so that it's not the same thing over and over again. Now let's go back to that sound. See if we could either find a better sound or just make the sound bigger. Now I'm adding effects on the sound. Okay, so now we can add like other rhythms to change it up over time. Now I've seen some folks, they'll use the new feature in FL Studio 24. Let's go here to pattern 1. Let's click here, make this unique. So now we're creating a new pattern out of the pattern 1. Basically it just duplicates the pattern. So what we'll do here on pattern 2 is we'll make all these pattern 2 by highlighting these, hit the top left, go to select source pattern, pattern 2. It will change all of these to pattern 2. Let's hit Control, left click, and highlight on that playhead. Let's go to the channel rack here. Let's go to the top left or top right, pardon me, where it says graph editor. Let's go to our snare drum. Let's go to the repeat tab. So now when it goes 3 C yo 3 C 3 C yo on that third snare, I want it to repeat. So let's grab the repeat tool in FL Studio 24 and above, and let's turn up the value. So it goes ta ta grr ta 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 grr like that. Now on these 808s, we can do something a little bit different. So let's make this unique so that it's different from pattern 1. And what I'll do is just add a little stutter 808. So it's like boom, 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 boom. And on pattern 7, we're gonna make this unique and do the same exact thing, but this time we're gonna lower the volume of those doo-doom parts. So it goes 3, C, doo-doom, like that. And we're gonna go to the graph editor. This time we're gonna use the velocity tab, and we're gonna turn down the 808 just before. So instead of the same hit twice, we're gonna go ba boom like that. So it creates a nice little contrast. Now on the snares that repeat, I'm going to turn them down just a little bit so that they're not super loud. Okay, so at this point, it's just up to you guys adding more rhythms to it. And now we're gonna add more sounds. Now let's add a lead in here. So I played that by hand. You guys can copy notes if you want, but let's change out the sound. Again, there's no rules from this point. You know, I'm just kind of going through. There is music theory to explain, but I'm not going to bore you guys right now with the music theory. Right now, we're just trying to figure out sounds to add in the back. Usually it's going to be a synth, like a stock sound type synth, not like some super high quality sound. So once you guys understand these 4 layers, making beats will become so much easier. We're going to stack this contrast layer with the different sound. wave shaper a little bit. Let's see if we can add like a fantasy melody in the background. I'm not going to explain the music theory. I teach this stuff in my busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials course, so you guys can learn more. But right now I'm just trying to move quickly through finishing this beat. But here's where that fourth layer is going to come into play, which is the harmony section. So the harmony, you don't need harmony for every beat, but to me, I define harmony as 2 notes to stack or more, 2 different notes to stack. So in this case, we're going to create a harmony section because that's the only missing ingredient here. And the harmony can also include the top line. So I'm adding a pad underneath, but adding rhythm to it so it feels like it's with the rhythm of the beat. out the sections of the song. Alright guys, you can get this project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio and subscribe if you're new. Like this video, share with a friend. This is just the beginning of the series, so we'll make different styles, but that's the core fundamental build up. So if you're a beginner, this video is for you. Alright guys, subscribe if you're new. Peace.